Hi, I'm Reba Hervis, Artistic Director of Overshadowed Theatrical Productions. Welcome to From the Wings. Today, I'm very excited to be at Bob Jones University and have a guest with me, Darren Lawson. And I'd like to just tell you a little bit about him first before we begin. Darren is the Dean of the School of Fine Arts and Communication at Bob Jones University in Greenville, South Carolina. He oversees the university's academic program in art and design, music and communication, and in addition to his administrative responsibilities, he is the producer for all of the stage productions at Bob Jones University. He's also a national award-winning stage director as well as a frequent actor. Well, we are very thankful to be here today. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely, thrilled to be here.
So I would like to know, for the very beginning of this, how has the speech communication department changed since the time you were a student till now?
Well, I think we moved from a very strong performance-based program in rhetoric and interp speech and all of those things. That's kind of where the discipline came out of. And now we've moved a little bit more toward broader communication skills and how do you go into a corporation or a business or church or ministry somewhere and help them function better from a communication perspective. So I think that's changed. I think the other thing that's changed is, like, when you and I were both here, like, theater was speech education. Mm-hmm. And it was a proficiency within that. And not everybody that enjoys theater ends up teaching in a K through 12 program. So we've shifted away from that, and now we offer straight theater. And I think our students have come to realize that there's more to theater than just acting and stage. There's an entire industry around theater. So we have students now who are professional stage managers, technical folks at the theater. So that's been a good move for us to make it broader and more straight theater.
I think that's awesome. When I was a student here, I actually was dramatic productions, that's what they called it then. And my advisor said, well, what do you, again, this was the dark ages, right? So I understand that things have changed, but my advisor actually said, well, if you get married and your husband dies, how are you going to make a living? You need to be speech education. So I changed because of that, even though obviously with running a theater now, that's where my heart really was. I do think it was a good decision for me at that particular time, though, because I do believe that the Lord directs your paths, and I think the things I learned in speech education, for me, were very appropriate. But I'm very glad that the program here has expanded, because there are so many other avenues to kind of check out and figure out what you fit best in.
Something I've been doing for the last 10 years or so is I've been tracking where all of our graduates are, and I've got a spreadsheet. You're in that spreadsheet, and I've got you listed as a graduate and what you're doing now with your theater. And it's been interesting to look at our theater grads and see where they're working. Not all of them are in theater. Some of them are doing event planning. They're doing, they're working in training and development. They're working in, so what's been interesting is to see the skill sets that they get of teamwork and discipline and presentation on stage. All of those things come into play in whatever job they end up taking. So it's been really interesting to see that how folks have used the theater and the communication training here to go on and do what they're doing.
I think that's so great. So I know I didn't prep you with this question, but since we kind of touched on this a little bit, are there things that you still have goals for that you would like to continue to expand the program the way it is now?
Yeah, well, I think we now have our cinema program, our journalism program, and we're morphing all the time. We're coming out with some new advancements in our what was the journalism and mass communication program to keep up with the media that's happening. So we're always evaluating, we're always doing program reviews to find out what can we do better and how can we meet the needs of this age of communication. So I appreciate that, and my faculty's great. They're always surveying the environment to see what's happening and trying to bring that in. We talk to our grads and we say, what do you wish you would have had? Or now that you're out, what can we do to prepare the next generation? So we got a lot of good feedback, and we try to put that into play.
I love that. What is your desire for your graduates? If you sat back and said, one-on-one with each one of them, what would you tell them?
I usually tell them all the same thing. I said, no matter what you end up doing, love God, love others. And to me, that's the mark of success. They're going to go out, they're going to go into all sorts of different fields, but I want your relationship to God to be growing, and I want your love for people to always continue. And no matter what you're doing, those two pieces of advice go into play, and I'm always preaching that to myself as well.
I love that. I think that that's something that, for me, even working in an entirely different field, so not field, I guess, but situation, that is the one thing that I say to my students all the time when they ask me if they should go professional or want to go to Hollywood or Broadway. It scares me because I think sometimes the pull of the world is so strong. And I'm not sure that they will have the connections that are reminding them to love God and to stand firm. And so I love that they could get that here and have somebody who would be really a mentor that is saying to them, this is the primary thing. It doesn't matter whether you're winning an Academy Award. What does matter is that you love God and that you say it at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Now, we're going to spill a little tea. Everybody at Overshadowed knows that we do that from time to time. So I know that Bob Jones has always hired talent from the outside, but it seems that recently you guys have added to your stage productions, not necessarily operas, but you have done things like Tale of Two Cities and Little Women. Maybe Little Women was the first.
Yeah, that was the
Broadway
very first one we did.
And at that particular time, I don't know if you know, but I knew as a former graduate that people were saying, well, I don't understand why he's hiring talent. You have such a multi-talented faculty and student body. Why didn't you cast within who you had right here at the university?
Yeah, well, we have, in classic players, which are our Shakespearean plays, we typically do not hire professional talent for that. For the operas, we always have, because I just finished Samson and Delilah. And while we had student understudies that did an excellent job, their voices haven't developed yet to be able to do that repertoire from opera. So, and we've typically done the bigger shows like Aida and Il Trovatore and Samson and Delilah, Mephistopheles, and we couldn't do that literature with internal talent. So like 70 plus years ago, they started hiring professional talent for that. So when we started with the musicals, I think it was just a carryover from what we were doing in opera, and we said, let's continue doing that. I probably could have pulled off a really good Little Women with internal talent. And we actually did have faculty members and students and staff members, alumni participate in that. But now that we're kind of going along that path, the students have really enjoyed the opportunity to perform alongside Broadway talent.
Right.
And the folks will come in and they'll do master classes for our students. And of course, the students get to observe them and their work ethic on stage, and they love it. They really love it. And they strike up a relationship. And so yeah, it's a different model, but it's one that has worked, and I think we'll probably continue with it for now. So that's why we've done it.
I love it. Can you tell us a little bit about what that process is for you as a producer?
Yeah, so as I'm working through the production, I'll look and say, well, generally we have anywhere from 3 to 6 lead roles that I could possibly bring in from the outside. For the musicals, because it's just a different style, a different genre, I usually have brought in 5 to 6 on those. So I'll determine which roles I'm going to hire from the outside, And then I head to New York every year, and we set up auditions in the city.
If you need somebody to carry your coffee for you next year, I'll be happy to come sit by
I
you.
get lots of volunteers to carry my luggage or whatever. And so we work with about 42 agents in New York.
Wow.
And so when we're coming up, we'll send them a notification ahead that says, this is the production we're doing, these are the roles that we're looking at, here's when we're doing it, when the artist needs to arrive. If you have anyone who's interested, have them contact my assistant, and she will schedule a 7-minute audition for them. So I block out a hall in New York, and then every 7 minutes, I'm hearing a different singer. And they bring their headshot, their resume,
Just like we would do for a community theater audition.
Exactly, and that is the business up in New York. And it's really interesting because I prefer that to just kind of searching YouTube or just watching videos, because even in that short 7 minutes, I'm able to interact with them and go, oh wow, this is a really great person.
Right.
And I'd love to work with this person. And so that's what we've done, and we've established a pretty good working relationship with the artist in New York. When they come to BJU, they are treated well. We treat them like kings and queens while they're here.
Wow.
And sometimes in the industry, they're not treated with the same respect. So I think
that's probably something you've done for 70 years.
Oh, yeah,
right?
that's nothing new.
Right.
We just really make them feel welcome. And I tell our student cast sometimes, these productions are for us and our audience and our students, but I think they're as much for the guest artists who come in, because for 2 weeks they get to rub shoulders with us and get to know who we are, and they all want to come back. That's a testimony for me that says, hey, keep me in mind the next time you do something, that they enjoyed it so much.
I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to stop right here for now, but if you enjoyed this, please make sure you come back next week for part 2 of our interview with Darren. Until then, this is just me talking to you from the wings.